everyone, Sunday, July 6, 2025. This is Off the Ledge. And since it's Sunday, we have a gathering at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. We meet every week for Church of Spirituality. That's where we use the metaphysical principles, the science of energy, to manifest what it is we want to have happen personally and in the collective. So that's every single Sunday, Church of Spirituality, right here on my channel, under the lives. Please make sure you hit your notification bell so you know that I'm on when I'm on. Just a few words about YouTube. I don't, to the best of my ability, I don't let it get to me that the numbers keep dropping, because I trust the guides and I trust the quality of my work. So it's not an ego thing, but I could use some help. You know, we do really good work here. We give inspiring, uplifting motivation. I'm saying we, because when you leave nice comments, you know, that's we. I mean, we're doing this together. So please share anything that you can for my channel. I don't have help from corporate. And you hear all the YouTubers that have pro-democracy channels say the same thing, no matter how large they are. Somehow Midas Touch got past the algorithm thing, but they have more resources than I do, and than we do. So a couple of things. I know that we're in a very scary place because Donald Trump has taken away all our security on every level, and that's by design. That's by Putin's design. See, this is why YouTube won't get me more up, get my number of views up. But that's what's going on. And the Putin playbook is destroy America. So how do you destroy America? You destroy people's sense of security and stability. So right now we're in a place where we don't know what we can really count on. But I'll tell you something that we definitely can count on, and that is spirit. When we fight, we win. And when we fight with spirit, we win. There's a lot of people that don't know what's going on. I took the day off from doing a PNN pop-up yesterday because I was still processing what happened during the parades, the 3 parades that I walked in. You know, it just really, I need time to kind of digest what happened. When I really was literally face to face with the stark reality of how lost some people are, maybe of no fault of their own, but it's just the facts. The lack of I would say critical thinking and independent thinking and the ability to think, the loss of that is just it's very stark and very disturbing. But don't let me discourage you, because there are more of us than there are of them. I don't think that most people are out there saying the concentration camps are good, for example. Good news, let's see. Earlier, few months ago, I said I really wanted to plant some flowers, and I didn't know if I would succeed, but voila! I'm happy about those daisies and begonias, but something. Let's read from Ernest Holmes, and I'll be reading from Ernest Holmes today at 1 p.m. Everything I do here is designed specifically to help to lift your energy. So if you want to do more of that, attend today. And you can always watch it on replay. Church of Spirituality is 5 years in the making, so we're in our 5th year. And we pray for one another when we pray for the collective. Ernest Holmes today. We are comforted by the promises of God. Blessed by the Lord, there hath not failed one word of his good promise. Ernest just took that from the Old Testament. And before I read this is kind of on my mind today about what we are committed to taking a stand for, and kind of, you know, holding the line for. And what we're holding the line for is the divine promises. So Ernest This is not a Christian channel or Christian church of spirituality, is not that either, but just it's for everybody. So he says the Bible is filled with divine promises revealed through the spiritual intuition of great souls. We are promised long life and happiness, riches and abundance, health and success. The Bible contains more promises than any other book ever written and tells us to accept that these promises are not vague, uncertain things. More particularly, it tells us that these promises are being fulfilled right now, in the day in which we live. Beloved, now are we the sons and daughters of God. We need not wait to enter into the fulfillment of these promises. They are eternally given. They're eternally present. And waiting only on our acceptance. This acceptance is a mental as well as a spiritual act. It is the mind accepting its highest hope in complete confidence, placing its entire reliance on a power greater than itself. So let's put our reliance on a power greater than ourselves that we are co-creating and aligning with. We really must remind ourselves of this all the time. Last night I felt moved to post a Louise Hay video. There's a movie based on her book You Can Heal Your Life that was made maybe 15 years ago, I'm guessing, or a little longer ago. Louise Hay was the godmother of the spiritual self-help movement, and she also was a religious science practitioner too. I urge you to watch that movie. I did post it on my community page. It says something about Louise Hay and being 80 years old at the time. But the movie is there, and it's called You Can Heal Your Life. Just type it into YouTube. If you studied spirituality, especially in the 1990s, there was a huge revolution of spiritual awakening in the 1990s, that entire decade. And I really feel like those of us that were experiencing that at that time, like I met Sadhguru in 1998, and I had already been on a spiritual path and had already discovered science of mind in like 1991. So when I think about how much I learned during that time, and I think about what we're going through now, I understand that all that study was in preparation for what we're in right now. So let's not forget what we learned. If you also were there during the 90s and the whole spiritual movement, which is based on ancient wisdom and science, remember what you learned then, and maybe watch that movie and kind of refresh your memory. When we affirm things, they become so, especially when we affirm them repeatedly. Let's listen to the astrology for today. Not to discourage you, but hang on. Just a side note. I have been watching Midas Touch. I know that they're growing in leaps and bounds, and I was mad at them months ago because they weren't bringing up the issue of the election having been rigged. But I think we really have to see this. The MAGAs in Congress who voted yes on the murder bill, we're doing this. You may have seen this. We're doing this over the 4th of July weekend. Those are little, like tubes, what do they call them? With Dumpy's face on them that say "Make America Great," something to that effect. And it's absolutely disgusting that they're drinking and they're acting like children. We have children in charge of what was once the most powerful country in the world. If that doesn't get you all mad and activated, I don't know what will. Maybe the taking away the National Weather Service and having people die as a result during hurricane season, massive flooding in Texas. We will pray for all of this. We'll pray for everything today at 1. Let's listen to Kathy. I just had to show you that because I had sent it to her. And quite an interesting time we live in. Here we go.
This is Kathy Beal of EmpowermentUnlimited.net with Astro Insight for July 6th, 2025. This is a day to follow the energy, to follow your energy, to follow impulses that just erupt inside of you. It's a day for being bold, for speaking out, for following your intuition, for stepping into your own spiritual warrior mode. And if you get the nudge to get in touch with someone, follow that impulse. That's all for now.
Oh, that's interesting, because I connected with somebody last night, serendipitously, who's a musician who's interested in a songwriting group, so that fits. Yay! It was just by chance. Let's pull some cards. I'm planning to do a pop-up later today, a pop-up PNN, so make sure you hit your notification bell. And subscribe and hit the thumbs up. All right. A sneak preview of today's church service is that the theme for July, it's the first Sunday in July, is divine freedom. Of course. Okay, we have a rebirth card. This reminds me that recently, pulling the deck of character cards, I got that we are heading for a resurrection, and I have the rebirth card today. And that will be a result of all of us in the collective activating, not only physically, but also in our consciousness. Flowering, isn't this interesting? I was just talking about my flowers, and I have the flowering card. So we are starting to grow in numbers. And this is what's happening in our politics. We're changing our politics. We are having a rebirth, and we're starting to really, this movement is starting to really blossom. So another little piece of good news is that I had mentioned several times that there's a house that I go by when I'm walking in the morning, and for months and months and months I've had it on my mind. I'm going to write them an anonymous little note that says about the huge Trump, I mean, the biggest Trump sign you've ever seen probably, on their house. And I've been planning to write a little note like he's a fascist, or, you know, you might want to take that down, or, and just send it anonymously. I've done that before, and actually the signs came down when I have done that before. Well, this morning the sign was down. The Trump sign was down. And that's a good sign. And it was replaced by a huge American flag, but the Trump sign was down. So let's just take that as a message that they're waking up, and that's what we're in right now. We're in an absolute crisis, don't get me wrong. I'm not Pollyanna here, but the guides keep telling me it's the people that have the power, and the people will turn this around. So keep the faith, and we'll see you soon. Namaste. Bye.